The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello and good afternoon or good morning or wherever you're at today, and welcome to the September edition of the Microsoft News and Updates webinar. My name is Blair Loveland. I am your Microsoft Readiness Specialist, and again, I want to thank you for joining us today. So for today's agenda, we're going to talk about some changes to the Azure hybrid benefit, some updates on Azure reservations, update on Skype for Business Online, the Power Platform, and PCM Professional Services, DevOps, Developer Ops, and then the Surface Summer Sale. So, went too far there on my slide there. So let's talk about some changes to the Azure hybrid benefit, and sometimes this is commonly known as mobility rights as well. And Microsoft has made some changes that we're going to go over here, effective with the August 2019 product terms, and specifically related also to the Azure dedicated host. So these are going to affect Windows Server and SQL Server. First, let's get into some of the changes to the hybrid benefit for Windows Server. So, as you know, Windows Server has standard licenses and data center licenses, and for the Azure hybrid benefit, it can be used on premises or for virtual machines running in Azure, or for the virtual machines running in the newly launched Azure dedicated host. Now, in contrast, to the standard, you'll see the data center licenses, where the main difference is, whereas the standard licenses can be used for on-premises or virtual machines, the data center licenses can be used on-premises and for virtual machines, or for virtual machines running in the dedicated host. So a little more flexibility there. The licensing rules, both Azure and the Azure dedicated host, they still follow the group of 8 rules. Now, with the data center license, though, you license the individual machines running in Azure dedicated host with that groups of 8 rule, or license all the physical cores on the Azure dedicated host, and then you could run an unlimited number of virtual machines. Now, as far as assigning the licenses, there was an increase from the 31-day allowance to 180 days, where you can assign for standard licenses, both on-premise servers and Azure licenses for that period of 180 days for your migration process. Now, for the data center license, has the same 180-day migration window. So look, just a couple changes there, but we wanted you to be aware of them. Now, for SQL Server, pretty much the same, for standard and enterprise licenses for the compatibility, where you could use that for on-premises or for virtual machines running in Azure, or for the Azure SQL database services, or for virtual machines running in the Azure dedicated host. Now, for licensing for standard, the licensing rules for the Azure dedicated host, they're the same for running virtual machines in Azure. Now, for the enterprise licenses, however, there is that additional licensing option where, for the Azure dedicated host, you can license all the physical cores of your Azure dedicated host to run SQL Server in an unlimited number of virtual machines. And for migration periods, there's no change to the 180-day migration period allowed when moving from on-premises to Azure. So again, there's a few changes, but some important changes that you probably want to be aware of as you do your migration and your digital transformation to the cloud. Now for some updates on Azure reservations. Microsoft did announce some new updates. For example, new reservations available for Azure Databricks with 1- and 3-year subscriptions, and also the Azure App Service, 3-year subscriptions. And they're both going to give you around 40% savings, as opposed to just going with the pay-as-you-go pricing. There's also a couple of new, reservation facilities you can use. You can now automatically set your reservations to renew, and you can even choose to assign them to a resource group within a subscription, rather than to just the whole subscription. So a little more flexibility, ability to assign those resources for your internal billing or use or whatnot. So that makes it a little more valuable for you. And finally, these Azure reservations can now be purchased using REST APIs, and there's even more data available to you to help with optimizing your reservations when you order it through your EA. If you have any questions on these updates, the Azure reservations or the Azure dedicated host, or some of the licensing changes to hybrid benefit or mobility rights, set up a data center transformation envisioning session at pcm.com/envision. Now let's talk about, excuse me, let's talk about Skype for Business Online, some updates there. So Skype for Business Online is going to be retired actually on July 31st of 2021. Now, please note before I get too far into this, the Skype consumer service and also the Skype for Business server, the on-premise version, are being unaffected by this announcement. This is specifically for Skype for Business Online. And why? Because that's, because Microsoft is moving everybody to Microsoft Teams. So between now and then, current Skype for Business Online customers, they're going to have no change in service. They'll be able to, you'll be able to continue to add new users, as needed. However, starting about 10 days ago, 12 days ago, September 1st, 2019, any new onboardings will be Office 365 will be directly to Teams for chat, your meetings, and for your calling as well. So to help with some of these transitions and the investments that Microsoft is making in Microsoft Teams, they added some new features as well. For example, Dynamic 911. It's similar to your cell phone where you put in your physical address. So if you need to call, say 911 from Microsoft Teams, voice, they'll know exactly where you're at. You can put in your address, so they'll know where to come rescue you at. That'll be available by the end of this calendar year. Now, shorter retention periods. That one kind of is a little weird sounding because honestly, when have you heard of somebody really needing a shorter retention period, right? It seems like with the GDPR and all the compliance and regulatory requirements, they want you to keep stuff for longer and longer, and seems like forever, right? Well, for those customers who really don't need that long of a retention period, there are some new shorter retention. Oh, excuse me. Here it went. There you go. You don't need that kind of retention periods. Customers, there's now a shorter retention period. You can even, retain chat retention periods as short as 1 day. And then even if you delete it, you can ensure that all that delete is removed from your printed storage as well as the Teams service. And that'll be available by the end of this calendar year as well. So again, just offering you more flexibility to manage your storage and your retention periods and giving you the options that you need for your specific business. Contact center integration and compliance recording. So Teams is not just for conference calls. It's available for call centers. There's Teams for voice. There's Skype meetings for chat rooms. There's a whole bunch of options. And then, so some customers are indeed using it for their call center service or for queue calling, right? So a lot of those folks need to have compliance recording or QA recording and keeping the data as well. So Microsoft has actually partnered with some folks, and they're actually coming out with contact center and compliance recording solutions to market for Teams as well. And then Teams and Skype consumer version interoperability. That'll allow users of the two different services to still communicate using both chat and calling. And Teams and Skype consumer interoperability, they'll be available in Teams in the first quarter of calendar year 2020. So again, a lot of options for Teams as Microsoft is retiring Skype for Business Online. And if you have any questions on some of the content we talked about for Teams today, or what your options are as far as, say, upgrading from Skype for Business Online into Teams, or some of the features that Microsoft is rolling out, schedule a modern workplace and visiting session. Teams is part of Microsoft 365. It's going to help you with your productivity and collaboration, empower your workforce to do more. So with the Microsoft Teams, the modern workplace and visiting session, we'll cover what is Microsoft 365, how you can enhance security with Microsoft 365, including expanding your collaboration and productivity, and also addressing mobile threats with Microsoft 365 as well. And again, if you have any questions on that, there's the envisioning session, modern workplace envisioning session at pcm.com/envision. Now, if you're a little past the envisioning session stage, or you want to roll out Teams, but you just try to get a roadmap or figure it out, just how you want to do it, we're not going to leave you hanging either. PCM has, Jumpstart sessions, and there is the Microsoft Teams Jumpstart project where you can take advantage of PCM services. We'll help you roll out the Teams environment. We'll follow best practices, a security first mindset, and that way you won't be overwhelmed. So what do you get with the Microsoft Teams or collaboration Jumpstart? You're going to get on-site training with Microsoft experts. You're going to get a deep dive, educate your organization on what Teams can do for you, as well as discuss those best practices for user adoption and administration. We're going to give you, or actually do with you, a whiteboarding and road mapping session. We'll help you design that Teams pilot environment and discuss the configuration options for you, including the available security tools as well. And even then, we're not just going to say, hey, here's your roadmap and have a nice day. We're actually going to leave you with that working environment. We're going to help you configure a test group for you and deploy teams for use. And we're also going to help you test and adopt it. We'll identify 10 key actions to user in the team test. And we'll even do follow-up sessions with the pilot team to answer questions and provide guidance and best practices, and also provide input into the organizational rollout plan and strategy. So we're going to meet with you. We're going to talk to you about it. Figure out what's great for you, what's best for your organization, and we're going to leave you with a working environment. And that's with the Microsoft Teams Jumpstart session. So let's talk about the Power Platform. And if you were on my call last month, you did hear me talk a little bit about this because it was from Inspire, and I'm going to revisit a little bit, this time because it leads well into, the PCM, the next section, which is the PCM, DevOps as a service. So in Inspire, Microsoft rolled out what they're calling the Microsoft Power Platform, and that's one connected platform that empowers everyone to innovate. You'll be able to analyze, act, and automate. So with Analyze, you're going to see company data in new ways. You're taking advantage of data visualizations and the Power BI tools that are available today. With Act, you'll be able to build apps in hours and not months that easily connect to data. And then Automate, you'll be able to automate your workflows with Microsoft Flow to automate those tasks. Take that human. Your folks won't have to spend so much time doing that because you're going to be automating these workflows. And the tools that are going to help you do that, which consist of the Power Platform, are Power BI, Power Apps, and Microsoft Flow. Now with Power Apps, you can build apps for both web and mobile, mobile services, whether it's internal applications, customer-facing applications, business processes, really whatever app you need to build, Power Apps is there to help you do it. And the reason these apps are being able to be done in hours instead of months or days is because organizations are adopting cloud-based, that low-code development platform. No longer are we talking high code or crazily complex. Citizen developers of the world are really exponentially growing in the field. In fact, a statistic that Microsoft threw out at Microsoft Inspire is by the year 2030, there's going to be 500 million apps, in play, and that's a lot of apps. Someone has to develop these. So low-code applications, Power Apps will help whether you currently have internal developers or you need, assistance from PCM DevOps services to help you get those applications to market for you and make, really build that robust environment for you and for your customers to, roll out to your customers. So with low-code applications, organizations can build apps from simple to complex and empower their departmental IT to deliver the apps. And then you can add intelligence to solve everyday tasks with AI and machine learning capabilities. And we'll talk about that in the coming slides as well. So coming in October, just next month, there's going to be some additional app capabilities in Power Apps and Flow. In the Power Apps portal, you'll be able to get internal and external user access with Common Data Service. There's also going to be AI Builder for Power Apps and Microsoft Flow as well. That'll be really, I saw a demo of it from Inspire. It's a guided point-and-click AI applications. You can infuse AI into your apps and processes. It surprised me how easy it was to do, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm not even a developer, a programmer. I'm a licensing guy. So, watching how easy this was, I was like, that's crazy how easy that was. So with Microsoft Flow, it gives you the ability to automate and integrate your business processes. And why? Because by automating things, you can reduce your complexity and your cost. Organizations are always seeking to increase their bottom line, automate processes, make things easier, easier to manage, easier to develop, and they're moving really from high technical flexibility and high cost of traditional processes to more automated solutions as well. And with these low-code workflow tools, you can balance those functionality requirements with the accelerated development needs of your wide base of users. Again, using low-code instead of things that are increasingly complex, you'll be able to get your applications, to market, whether internal or external, faster. And then you can future-proof your automation investments rather than, having to rip and replace and rebuild an app or buy a new app every time you want to add a feature. Again, with these low-code, your existing, apps, and with the Flow and Power Apps, you can just build onto it. You can add capabilities to your existing apps, which will save you time and money as well. as opposed to having just rip and replace a whole new thing. So let's talk about how Power Apps is licensed. There's the Power Apps per app plan, which is $10 per user per app per month, and that allows your individual users to run a single application for a specific business scenario based on the full capabilities of Power Apps. Then there's the Power Apps per user plan. And that's $40 per user per month, but then users can run unlimited applications based on the full capabilities of Power Apps. And also, and the reason why we do encourage you to do an envisioning session, which includes a license review, there are some Power Apps benefits included with your Dynamics 365 and Office 365 licenses. Flow is somewhat similar. For Flow per user is $15 per user per month, and that way individual users can create unlimited workflows and business processes based on their needs. And there's also the Flow per business process, which is $500 for 5 active workflows per month. That way you can implement those critical business processes with the capacity to serve the teams, the departments, or even your entire organization. And also, there are some benefits included with Office 365, Dynamics 365, and Power Apps licenses already. And all of these are available through the PCM CSP program as well. That way you can add and subtract users as needed as your business ebbs and flows. Now, you heard me mention AI Builder before. Now, that is an add-on for Power Apps Flow and Dynamics 365. And let me build out the screen here. It is a tenant-wide capacity license. Now, the pricing for that is $500 per month, and each subscription includes 1 million service credits. And again, the qualifying base licenses are Power Apps Flow and Dynamics 365. So learn more about what benefits you may already have, or with Power Apps, or with Flow, or AI Builder. You want to learn more on how that's licensed and how it can benefit your business. Set up a modern licensing and envisioning session at pcm.com/envision. Now, building upon the Power Platform is PCM Professional Services, DevOps. And the reason I wanted to evangelize this to y'all today is not many people knew that PCM actually offers developer services as a service. So if you don't have the infrastructure or the staffing, or honestly, they're busy doing other things, and you just want to offload some app development or process development services, PCM DevOps as a professional service is here to help you. So what is DevOps, right? So DevOps is the union of people, processes, and tools to enable continuous delivery of value to customers, whether it's PCM providing value to you as our customer, or relaying to your customers as well as pass through. So it's all about helping you out and add value to your business. So, and really, DevOps is the cornerstone of the digital transformation. A lot of time at Microsoft Inspired, which was just in July, again, 500 million apps by 2030. There was definitely a strong presence of different application development, Power Platform messaging from Microsoft. So I really do believe that is really going to be way of the future. Everyone needs apps, whether they're automated, internal, external, customer-facing, customer service, chatbot, you name it. There's an app for it. You just look at the app store for your cell phone, right? So with DevOps, it's here to help you with that cornerstone of the digital transformation. With your time in the market for apps, your quality of your apps, frequency of deployment, increased revenue for you because you're spending less time developing apps, and also your customer reach and retention, because honestly, everybody's doing everything from a mobile device, it seems like nowadays. And what are those? They're apps. And even internally, whether you're monitoring business processes, there's an app for your phone. You can check and see, okay, well, what's the, cooler temperature of this facility, or what's the output rate of that facility. Everything has an app nowadays. You can monitor things. So PCM's approach to DevOps really is that guided modernization of your applications, the customer applications, through the your modern infrastructure, modern methodologies, whether it be containerization, and even architectural patterns. We provide the value to you through our DevOps strategy by leveraging automation as much as possible. Again, the more you can automate things and remove that human touch, the less expensive it's going to be for you, and the more cost efficient and productive it's going to be for you and your end results. So our development capabilities, we can help use your delivery pipeline, workload migrations from on-premise migrations to the cloud, but even platform application migrations. And we'll have some examples for this here in just a few slides as well, and how we help some existing customers. From infrastructure as a service to platform as a service migrations, even containerization of your apps with Docker and Kubernetes implementations. So, it's great we can talk about that and tell you what we can do, but here's some real life examples of way we help customers, and we can help you in the same way. So example number one, and there's 3 examples. Customer had 5 worldwide data centers, they had public-facing applications, open source technologies. They spun off a child company that was heavily indebted with those legacy applications. How many times have we heard that legacy applications that you want to move to, you upgrade or move to the cloud? So what we did, we helped them out. We workload migration and app transformation to the cloud as a platform as a service. We migrated their applications to Azure and AWS through code refactoring and automation. And that was done with Jira, Bitbucket, and Azure DevOps as well. So for the next example, there was a large East Coast healthcare provider, pretty big, 122 hospitals and 92 clinics, right? They attempted to refactor their critical applications with their internal development team, but they ran into challenges. They just had a skills gap where they weren't able to get where they wanted to be. So PCM DevOps services, that we were able to re-architect from their native Azure platform as a service architecture to an extensible microservice architecture. So again, we had the expertise and the skills and the capability. We worked with their internal team. We took a lot of the heavy lifting off their plate, and were able to work out this solution for them using Azure DevOps, Azure Service Fabric, PowerShell, and Terraform to get them where they needed to be. All right, example number 3, educational. We uplifted a learning management system for a large university, about 150,000 students. They had on-premise legacy infrastructure service systems. We migrated them to Azure App Service environments. They even had some greenfield applications that were architected to use containers and orchestration for their new deployments as well. So for that, we used Jira, Azure DevOps, Docker, Kubernetes, and Terraform as well. So again, you can see where we've got the skills and the capabilities to help really a variety of customers and industries with their needs. So let's close out. I think we're going to close this one out today with the Surface Summer Sale. In fact, that ends this month, September 30th. So you don't want to miss out on it. If you have any laptop or even desktop upgrade needs, you can save up to $300 on Microsoft Surface. Obviously, there's select models, so you want to reach out to your PCM AE, and we can set up a modern workplace envisioning session for you, go over the different Surface models and what would be best for your needs. But again, September 30th, up to $300 off, so you don't want to miss that sale. It's a great way to save some money for your upgrades. And again, it's not just, hey, here's a laptop, have a nice day. You want your employees to be able to work naturally, so there's a lot of Surface accessories that go along with that as well. There's the Surface Pen, the Surface Dial. Again, with the Surface Pen, Surface's touchscreen, so you can mark up your documents and edits right there on the screen as well with the Surface Pen. There's Surface Mice, there's Surface type covers, there's even Surface headphones, even Surface docks, adapters, and more. So there's a whole line of accessories to go along with the Surface, so it really is a complete solution. And to find out more about that, or just upgrading your workforce to modern technologies and modern devices, you want to set up a modern workplace and visiting session at pcm.com/envision. So I know we went through a lot of content today. Hope you found it useful. But again, if you have any questions on anything today that we covered, whether it's the Azure Hybrid Benefit, Surface, PCM, professional services, DevOps, set up a envisioning session at pcm.com/envision, or reach out to your PCM account executive. We'll make sure we get the right folks in touch with you and help you with your path to digital transformation. So we hope you enjoyed today's session and you have a wonderful day today. Thank you.